Okay, everyone, good afternoon. Welcome. Let me introduce myself. I'm Lee Won-Xiang from Utah. I'm also the KLESF Secretariat. Welcome to today's webinar, Organic Food Waste Composting for Environmental Protection. Thank you for taking time out and being here today. I have just posted the sign-in link at the chat box, so you can sign in from the link. And just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any question, you may leave your question at the chat box. Okay, this webinar, we aims to provide a briefing on environmental protection such as recycling and composting. Interactive exercises will be conducted, including hands-on demonstration of composting food waste into organic fertilizer. Produced fertilizer and their uses will be shown. So the objective is to advocate environmental protection through sharing of environmental knowledge and practical skills of composting food waste into fertilizer. Now, I would like to introduce our speaker today. There are two speakers, Ms. Ng Yen Hong and Dr. Lee Suat. They are from Department of Commerce and Accountancy, Faculty of Business and Finance, University Tunku Abdul Rahman, Utah. Let's welcome our speaker. So feel free to ask them if you have any question. Okay, so now I pass the session to Ms. Ng.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lee. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, I'm going to share my slides. First of all, I just wanted to take a little bit of moment, okay, with all of you to share about my about this environmental protection, okay, awareness. Now, I believe you can see my slides, right? Okay, so today's workshop is about environmental protection. So we are talking about organic food waste, okay, which is part of the composting. Okay, so I just take a little bit of time. Okay, please bear with me. Okay, so today's composting workshop, okay, is about how we can actually compost for environmental protection. Now, a lot of us, okay, may not be aware about the waste that we produce every day. Okay, so actually, on average, we will produce 4.5 pounds of waste each day. So it can accumulate. But actually, 75% of the waste is recyclable. Okay, but only a small percentage of the waste is actually being recycled. Okay, so the waste which is recyclable, we know that it is paper, glass, metal, plastic. Okay, in even textile, we can actually recycle by passing it to another person. Okay, and food waste can be composted. Okay, so here, what if we do not recycle? Okay, just to create some awareness. Okay, so that more people is aware of what is the outcome if we do not recycle. So this is the outcome. Okay, so a lot of people will say that, hey, this is nothing to do with me. Okay, as long as my house is clean, okay, my environment, my surrounding is clean, okay, this does not affect me, isn't it? Okay, so when we see this type of pictures, okay, piles of rubbish area, okay, it may not affect majority of us. So then we will think, okay, is it just our home? If you walk out of your home, okay, walk out of your house, okay, your garden, all right, and then or you go to your compound, if it is having some rubbish, okay, would it affect you? If it is, are you going to just stay at home? Are you going to just stay at the compound? I don't think so, isn't it? Okay, we will have to go out. Okay, so the street, okay, is part of our home as well, isn't it? Okay, so our garden, the whole taman, the cleanliness of the whole taman, including the playground, okay, of which the kids will be playing, okay, is also part of our home, isn't it? So the whole country, the cleanliness of the whole country, Malaysia, okay, and also the whole earth, okay, if you are talking about the whole mother earth, okay, is also part of our home, isn't it? So if anything to do, anything that is not good that happens to the earth, okay, am I still having the connection? Okay, all right. Okay, so anything to do with the Mother Earth is also affecting us, isn't it? So then that's why we say that recycling starts with all of us. Okay, so it's not just affecting our home. Okay, definitely not just our country. Okay, it's actually the whole earth. All right. So the condition is actually very bad. Imagine we put the rubbish at our home and then we don't throw it away. Okay, we keep it for 1 week. How bad, okay, will the smell be? Okay, we can imagine, okay, things get rotten, okay, and it's going to be very, 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 very smelly, isn't it? Okay, so therefore we know that it is going to be not just the smell, isn't it? Some people will say, oh, it's just the smell. Actually, it's not. It take up the land space. Okay, besides that, it will also create problems, okay, such as soil pollution and water pollution. And not only that, okay, sea animals will also go dying, okay, because of the rubbish, okay, the rubbish that actually pollute the sea, and also they could be digesting, okay, the plastic that is floating around in the sea, okay. So if no action is taken now, it will be too late, okay. But we can actually do something together, because collective action is power. Okay, so it's not just one person do it. Okay, so if everybody, okay, do it, everybody recycle, everybody do composting, collective action is power. Okay, so how can we play a role? How can we actually help the condition from improving? Okay, so recycle now. Recycle starts with all of us. Okay, so we can reuse, reduce, and also recycle. So what we can do is we can recycle paper. Okay, paper. We can also recycle glass. Okay, we can also recycle metal. Okay, so like all these cans, okay, they are the metal that we can recycle. And besides that, we can also recycle plastic. Okay, so later we are going to play a game. Okay, we are going to play a game on how is each category of these to us. Okay, and we can also recycle textiles. Okay, means pass on the worn clothes that is still in good condition, pass on to somebody, bless someone. Okay, so if I got fatter, okay, I cannot wear it, or my child, okay, my children, okay, already, okay, way out, okay, so they already have bigger size, they cannot wear it anymore, pass it to another child, bless someone else. Okay, so it would be a blessing to pass it on. All right, and besides that, we can also have food waste. Okay, so for food waste, it is not going to be recycled, but we can actually do composting, isn't it? Okay, so it is said to say that food waste in Malaysia is actually quite a lot. Okay, so you see, food, okay, wasted in Malaysia is the highest, because we throw out 44.5%, okay, of food. So imagine, okay, this all will end up in the landfill, okay, like plastic. Plastic is only 19%. Okay, so food waste problem is actually more. So now we are going to play a short, okay, little game, okay, to just guess about each category that I'm going to show you. Where does this each item, okay, where does it fall? Okay, so we know that it can be paper, glass, metal, plastic, food waste, or textile. Okay, so let's play with a small game.
Oh,
All right, okay, so if we are going to play a game, what is this?
from my phone or
Huh? And can you all hear me?
Yeah, it's plastic.
Okay, yes, correct. It's plastic. Okay, so this will go into the category of, okay, the plastic. All right. And then how about the next item? Okay, how about this? So if I'm not using this anymore, so which category will it fall into?
metal.
Yes, it will go into the metal. Okay. Now, what if I have a cover, container cover? Okay, so I actually don't, okay, need it anymore. So where does it go to? And this is a container, okay, cover. So we can actually segregate it away. So in fact, it is actually with a metal, so we can actually separate it. So this is a metal, and then this is a plastic. Okay, so we are going to separate it. Okay, and if a box, so the box is a paper, isn't it? Okay, so we can segregate all this. And food waste, okay, later Dr. Lee is going to show you some of the food waste. Okay, so today we know that food waste issue is actually quite serious in Malaysia. Okay, 38,000 tons is due to daily domestic waste, and it comes out to 17,000 tons, okay, which is 45% daily. Okay, so if we can actually reduce this by doing composting, will you be willing to actually be part of it? Okay, so we say that if we can actually bring all these food waste, okay, to do composting. But of course, not all items can be used for composting. Okay, so Dr. Lee is going to share with us. It is one of her interests. Okay, so we can actually do something about it by reducing, okay, the food waste, that the food which is edible, okay, that if we are not eating, okay, then it can actually feed a lot of other people. Okay, so that is the sad truth lah. Okay, but we can actually do something about it. All right. So if we can do something about it, we can actually do composting so that it does not go into the landfill, because the landfill, okay, problem will lead to climate change, okay, lead to all these, okay, gas, carbon dioxide, okay, to have a bad effect, okay, to ourselves. Okay, at the end of the day, it will come back to us, okay, in terms of the pollution, in terms of the climate change. Okay, so without further ado, okay, I would like to invite Dr. Lee to come in to talk about composting, because composting can actually reduce emissions and also create nutrients, okay, for our soil. So now I'm going to invite Dr. Lee, okay, Dr. Crystal Lee, for the composting hands-on portion. I'm going to pass to you, Dr. Lee.
Thank you, Ms. Eun. Hi, I'm Dr. Lee, or you can call me Crystal. Here today, very happy to have an opportunity to share with you how do I compost organic waste in my little apartment here. I didn't have a house with garden, big garden. I only have an apartment. But anyway, food waste is one of the ways that I generated on daily basis. So to me, I started this practice of composting actually out of hobby. I'm not a scientist, I'm an accountant. So I can't tell you a very practical part of the composting, but I can share with you my practical experience of organic composting. So do at the home, if you have a garden, that will be even better. All right, so let's take a look at the process. I would like to explain the process. But anyway, when we come to food waste, we have two types of food waste. One is organic food waste, like what I'm holding here. Can you see those material that I'm carrying now? So these are the food waste I have gathered over the 1-2 days past. I have papaya skins here. I have tea bags here. I have lemons, and these are carrot shreds, carrot skins. Then I have cucumber skins and eggshells. This one I normally consume a lot of eggs. Sometimes I bake cakes, so they tend to have a lot of eggshells here in my apartment. Then these are some vegetable waste. Right, I have avocado skin, kiwi skins, and this banana skin has turned black. Most of the time, the food waste that I keep, I normally store them, keep them a few days in the fridge because I don't really produce a big volume. But for family which has more members, I think you people has more waste than me. So you gather a lot of this. A lot of time we just throw this to our dustbin, and it landed in the landfills, and it get rotted. And most of the time it get rotted at the landfill, and it just produces a lot of bad energies, bad gases like methane, which is very bad for our environment. So that's why I started to compost in my apartment and The other reason I compost is also because I'm too lazy to dispose this to the dustbin downstairs of the apartment. It takes me time to gather, to use the dustbin, plastic bag, and then throw it at the dustbin at the downstairs. So instead of doing that, I start compost, turning this into fertilizer, organic fertilizer. This is what I have. This is the final output. You can take a look. Wow, it's quite heavy here. You can take a look. These are very like soy kind of powdery thing, black soy, or we call it as black gold. These are the product that we use this raw material, organic waste, going through the aerobic composting process, turn it into soil-like ingredient or product, which our mother nature actually used this to make soil. So it is full rich of nutrients like nitrogen, we have potassium, all those ingredients that are needed for our plant and vegetables. So I use this for my potted plants here, for aloe vera, to plant vegetables as well. All right. So now I will show you how do I do this. Right. So these are the black gold that it smells nice actually. It's not stink. It depends on what kind of fruits we put in actually. Sometimes it smells a little bit of fruity. Actually, it smells nice. I put it aside first. Now I show you how do I do it. So from here, normally when we come to aerobic composting, which means that composting process that needs oxygen to have the process started, right? So the 4 ingredients that are needed is number 1, green material. There are 4 components needed. First category is green component, which are components rich with nitrogen. It is not recognized by the color of green. It is normally organic waste, like food waste that I showed you just now, all these food waste, or sometimes things like green item like chicken poo, cow poo, all these are considered as nitrogen-rich ingredient, which are considered as green component. So the other component needed will be carbon, brown component, which is rich of carbon. So those components, you can use things like dry leaves. Let me show you dry leaves. These are dry leaves. Oh, it's raining here actually. So these are dry leaves that I collected from the roadside. So I actually didn't collect on my own. Most of the time, what I do is I will look at those cleaner, like MPK cleaner or town council cleaner. They are cleaning the streets, collecting the dry leaves into the plastic bag. So when I pass by, I just take one bag home. That's it. So it's easy as that. Instead of they throw it away, I just bring home for composting. So this is brown item, rich with carbon component. If you don't have dry leaves, you can use newspaper. Paper also considered as brown item, right? Which is rich with carbon. No paper, can use cardboard also. So these are all interchangeable components representing the ingredient of carbon, right? So other than that, the whole process only needs to introduce a lot of oxygen into the process. Then with that, of course, the organic waste itself already has moisture. So air and water is one of the needed ingredients. So there are 4 green component, carbon, brown component, air, water, and also air, oxygen. So there are 4 components needed in the process. Now I show you how I do it. Normally in a small apartment, you can do it at a big scale at the garden. You can do it at a small scale at the apartment like me. So a smaller scale one, normally I will use just a slightly bigger size flower vase. As you can see from here, this is flower vase. Okay, flower vase, which you need to have holes at the bottom here. So see there are holes at the bottom. So with this hole is for the moisture or water generated from the aerobic composting process to exit from the flower pot here. So in order to avoid the food waste dropping out from the flower pot, we can just put this coconut strips, or you can just put a net in. This is a mosquito net. Just cut it into shape, mosquito net, and put it inside to cover the hole so that it doesn't drop out. The ingredient doesn't drop out. Once you have this done, okay, now we can introduce brown item to the bin, compost bin, brown item. Just introduce brown item, a bit of it, then put in the waste organic. Just put it in. Throw everything in. Then you just mix them up a bit. So don't let it be compact, just let it have lots of oxygen inside, lots of air flow through, lots of oxygen inside. So once done already, okay, this is your compost bin. What you do is you need to cover it to avoid flies getting in. So basically when we cover, you don't want to totally cover tight, so then there won't be any oxygen go in. So the whole bin will become stink and smelly. What makes the whole composting start is we have already brown item here, green item here. Then we need to let air flow in so that there is oxygen, and the microorganism within the organic waste here will needs the oxygen for the whole composting process. So once you have this, okay, you need to have a cover. You can make a cover. What I do is very simple. I just take a cardboard like this, cut it to the shape of the flower pot. Use newspaper to make a cover that to avoid the flies goes in, but air still able to flow in. So just do like this, fold it up around the shape cardboard, fold it up. Now you have a cover, ready-made cover. Everything from our existing material. So just put it on top here. Make it cover. So you still have air can flow in, and you want to avoid flies. It's safer on top. This is the neck. This is the neck that I cut into the shape of the flower pot. Just cover them so that to be sure that no flies goes in. So what you do is you clips it here, and just make sure the whole thing is properly covered up so that there's no flies goes in. It's getting so much of nutrients inside there, and they become maggots actively living inside the pot. But actually, even a maggot also, it doesn't matter. Maggots adds nutrients to the soil, humus, adds nutrients to the humus, but it doesn't look good. Like, it looks a bit ugly to ladies, especially like me. So once done already like that, you remember we have hole at the bottom. So this composting process, the output is it will produces heat. The whole anaerobic composting process, it will produces heat. So the whole bin, the content inside the bin will be heated up, and then byproduct will be also water, moisture that will be discharged through the hole here. So we will not want it to spread all over. We call this water discharge from the bin. We call it as compost tea. So what I do is to collect this compost tea, I just take another bucket, put it on top. That's it. Okay. That's it. How I do it. A small scale here. That's how I do it. All right. So you must be curious that what about tomorrow? I have new organic waste. What am I going to do? Am I going to start a new pot again? Then my house will be full of hundreds of pots in that sense. No, it's you can top up the organic waste once you have a new batch of it. Let me do it again, right? So now this is the bin. I completed this today. Let's say tomorrow I have new organic waste. Now I show you I have another plate of organic waste here. This organic waste today I have different content. I still have lemon, still have eggshell, but I have here sweet potato skins and potato skins. I have lots of tomato skins here. Can you see? It's a big bunch of tomato skins. That was because yesterday night, I made tomato pasta sauce. So I cooked about 30 pieces of tomato. So I up with lots of tomato skins here, and it's still full of nutrients here. It's just that I don't like to take the skin only. So now I don't want to waste it. I don't feel too guilty to throw it into my compost bin. which eventually become fertilizer. So what I do here is just open up this whole thing again. Repeat the process only. Take out this. Okay. Introduce a little bit of brown item into the pot. A little bit of brown item again. So the intention of this is also to make it all the component inside the flower pot has space for oxygen to flow through. Put in a little bit more. How much you put in is also depends on how much organic waste you have. All right. So it has this. Then just throw in this whole thing. Throw in all. As simple as that. Throw in. Now we have the second round. Just mix it up a little bit with the brown that I throw in just now, the leaves that I throw in. If today I don't have enough leaves already, running out of leaves, and the town council workers are not cleaning the street yet, no dry leaves already, so I take newspaper. But you have to make it into smaller pieces, smaller chunks. Cannot be whole piece chunk throw in, then the ingredient in the pot will be all chucked up and it will all become a dense chunk. Then the composting process doesn't stop. So when you know composting process is not going well is when the whole pot getting smell. It becomes stink and smelly. Right? So if you feel the pots, the content in the pot is a bit smelly, that tells you, that indicates to you that the brown item is not enough. You have too much of green item inside the pot, and the aerobic composting process is not going on well. So you can rectify this by putting in more leaves, dry leaves. That's the easiest way. Just throw in more dry leaves, stir it, to mix it up so that it has more space. And then the composting process will go on again. And how you know it is working fine? The ingredient in the pot is a little bit hot. So the temperature for a small bin like this, it will be like 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. But if you do it in a garden with a big compost pool, then it can go up to 50 to 70 degrees. So it's actually hot. When you touch it, you feel the ingredient inside is hot. So you can make some carbon metal like this. Just throw in. Okay. Take a smaller one. This is a bit thick. But important, it must be in small chunks. Okay. So do it this way. Yeah. So now I'm done again with this. My second day composting. Just keep topping up like this. Okay? Keep topping up only. So cover it up again. If at times when you open up, you find the ingredient is too dry, then you can sprinkle some water, but don't pour in the whole pot of water or too much of water. Then it will cool down the pool and the composting process stops again. Don't throw in too much water. You can sprinkle a bit. What it wants is just moisture only. So the organic waste that we throw in every day has got a lot of liquids there. So it shouldn't be a problem for the moist component. The most important is the air component, that you must leave space for it. So you look at it, it's a bit full now. A bit full, 2 times only. But if you didn't touch it 3-4 days later, you can see it's all sink down already. So it becomes a thin layer at the bottom. That shows you that it has been composted. The composting process has already going on fine. Right? So what we do is here, and now we want to collect the compost tea. We just put it on this bucket again and cover it up. We are ready to put it aside. Where do we put this? Put it at the area under shade, maybe at balcony. At my place is balcony, or just beside your house, but don't put it under direct hot sun. You also don't want water to flush in that destroy the composting process in this bin. I hope I'm explaining okay. Is it all right? Okay. And on, yeah. Let me finish this.
Yes, very clear.
I'm explaining this as a hobby and not as a professional. Right? Done? Okay, so how long this will take? I will keep topping up the content, food waste, layer by layer, layer by layer. For me, for one person use, actually can use for top up, continuing top up about a month time. Then only this pot is actually really full. Okay, so one is really full, I will just put it aside. Put it aside for about a month or two. Then it will be, eventually it becomes this lah. It becomes this eventually. Right? But along the process, when we put it aside, we have to turn it. Maybe one week, just open up this pot, use something, a stick or whatever, just turn it so that we introduces more oxygen. So the key process of having organic composting works is ensure that you have enough oxygen introduced into the pot. Don't let everything chuck together and then it becomes stink. Then composting will not be successful. But if you ask me how long this whole thing will get completed, actually, especially say those people who has research in composting, they suggested a ratio of 30 to 1. That means 30 parts of carbon to 1 part of nitrogen. So 30 part of brown item to 1 part of green item. But the thing is, every item that we have here, they are not purely of brown item or purely of nitrogen component. They actually mixture. So it's very difficult for us to gauge really exactly what is 30 to 1. Very difficult to gauge. So somehow or other, when we put in green matter, green component, brown component, and we ensure that there are enough oxygen inside there, there are moisture inside there, eventually it will become compost. The difference is just how fast only. So if you manage to strike the correct ratio, then your compost will turn into organic fertilizer at a very fast speed, and the heat of the compost will be very high. Right? That shows that the process is going on efficiently. But if you don't hit the correct ratio, it doesn't matter. It just takes a little bit longer time to have the whole process completed only. Right? So to me, I don't really worry what is the ratio. I just throw in whatever I have, and I ensure that there are enough oxygen, and I turn it regularly. That's it. Right? So that's how composting is done. Right? So now I will want to show you about some of the product which is in the process. From here, this is what I just started. This is the final product, but there are some this ingredient will turn into a dark color humus in the process. So it's a bit moisture, highly moisture, dark colored product. We call it as humus lah. So I just show you on those things. Right? Come, let's go. It is raining here. You can see my little balcony here. Wait. This is what I have prepared just now. Just put it aside. Okay. This is a new pot. This is the in between in the processed product. Let me know if you cannot see. I adjust the camera. Oh, it was raining just now. Okay, when I open up this, okay, this is a small cap I use to cover up, and you can see this. Can you see this?
A little bit out of yes, now can.
Yes, can see.
The dark humus inside there. Can or not?
Can
Yes.
see.
Yeah.
It's dark brown.
Can see, right? Black color actually.
Oh, black. Oh, okay.
Can
Yeah.
Okay. See the compost juice compost tea that collected in the bin.
Yes.
Okay. So those are the compost juice or compost tea collected in the bin. We can use that also for our plant here. So what I do is just adjust here a little bit there.
Dr. Lee, does the compost juice smells?
No smell actually. If the process is right, there's no smell. If smell, how to put it at my balcony here.
Okay.
My sofa is just beside here. So you see, this is a compost tea. I can see, compost tea collected. So I put it in the jug. So what I do is I add water, dilute it. 1:1 will do lah. Add water, dilute it. Then I just use it for my plant here. This is compost tea, very nutritious tea. So I just put it here. So just introduce to the plant, give it to the plant. The plant will be happy to receive all this compost tea. All right. So that's how I use the compost tea. Then I think someone asked how to avoid maggots. If you want to completely avoid maggots, I did a larger scale bucket here. I'm not sure whether you can see or not. A larger scale bucket, the blue bucket there. Can you let me know whether you can see or not?
Yep, can see.
Let me
Yes.
show you what is in, how to make it completely no maggots. You see, this is a bigger bin I use. This bin, I also make holes so that the compost juice or tea can flow down to the bucket at the bottom. And you see this one? I throw all the ingredient into a washing bag like this.
Oh.
Open up the washing bag. Okay, when I open up the washing bag, I just throw in all the ingredient. Then when I finish, I just seal it. So in this sense, there's totally no flies goes in. And I have been keeping this pot for I think 2 months already. There's no sting at all. And you can see here, right? At the bottom, water can flow out.
Okay, would it affect the fly larva? Because someone actually did the anaerobic composting and there's a lot of larva.
This is aerobic composting. We introduce oxygen. There's no larva. When you have, there is possibility of having maggots only. Maggots, come, we go back to our place there. Hang on, yeah.
Okay, take your time. Be careful, slippery.
I just put the camera stand back to its position only. Okay, now come. So I think that ends the whole complete process of composting. So if you have question, you may ask me. Yeah, Miss Ng, you were asking something just now?
Yeah, someone is asking, Dr. Guo Xin is asking, would it attract fly larva? Because she actually did the anaerobic composting and there's a lot of larva.
Anaerobic composting is actually, we call it a rotting process where there's no oxygen introduced into the process or insufficient oxygen introduced. So the material just get rotten. So when you get rotten, then you have all kinds of larvas like that. But if you do aerobic composting, you have to introduce a lot of oxygen. You will still get maggots okay. That is because you have flies. There is a kind of fruit flies that love to eat vegetables and fruits a lot. A big one, slightly longer one, black color. So that flies come here and it lays egg inside your bin. So once it lays egg inside your bin, those egg will turn into maggots. So it's a bit sting, a little bit of smell only, not as bad. It's not like a smelly kind of thing, a little bit of sting. Those maggots eventually, when it comes to due time, it grows big, it turns into flies and they fly away. It flies away. Right? So yeah, so if you want to avoid totally no maggots, you can use a washing bag like that. to keep all components inside the bag. If your scale is bigger one, then maybe you got to get a bigger bag, tailor-made one or whatever, to ensure that all ingredients inside the bag, you use a zip to seal it up, or a string like that to pull it, so no flies has chance to go in. I tested this and it actually works. No maggots at all.
That is a very interesting idea, a very good idea, actually. Dr. Lee, are you still there?
Miss Eun, I think Dr. Lee disconnected just now. We wait for a while for her to join.
Okay. Okay. Because sorry everyone, because of the rain. Okay. So her line there is actually affected. Okay. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
Okay. I was removed from the meeting just now. Someone removed me. From the meeting. No, I think accidentally lah. Okay. Yeah.
So about the smell, right? Okay, there's no smell, okay, which is great. And then just now you were talking about the compost tea. So one of the participants is actually asking, is that because it's made of tea bags? That's why it's called compost tea?
I know the color looks like tea. Basically, it's the liquid that is extracted from the composting process. So most of the people that do composting call it compost tea. I guess that the reason is because the color looks like tea. But those liquid are actually very nutritious. It includes all the ingredients that we get from the fruits, from the vegetables. So you can directly use it on the plant, but you dilute it a little bit. 1:1 ratio will be okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lee. Is there any kind of waste that we cannot add into the compost to compose?
Okay, this composting process is just for organic food waste. Organic food waste means vegetables, fruits, and you can add in chicken poo. You can add in, of course, at apartment you wouldn't want to do that lah. If you have a garden, you really wanted to have a lot of fertilizer, you can add chicken poo, cow poo. Those are all considered as organic items that has microbes inside them. The process starts with microbes that are consuming oxygen and eating up all those organic waste, and then it eventually turns into breaks the component down into nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. All these ingredients are highly needed by plants, vegetables.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lee. If you have any questions, you can actually type in the meeting chat. Now, Miss Lee Su is asking, do this composting technique is applying for the cooked food?
What kind of food is that? What kind of
food? That means you already masak, already cooked the food, but you cannot finish eating it. So can you actually use them?
For raw organic waste. That means when you cook your meal, you definitely has a lot of waste product from the vegetables, from the fruits. So even like, sometimes we store too much, like now MCO, I used to store too much of vegetables. And when I check it out, I noticed so much of my vegetables turn into yellow color, or almost is getting not fresh anymore. So instead of throwing into dustbin, which eventually gets stink, and I have to quickly discharge them to the dustbin, to solve my issue here, my problem here, I just keep a compost bin So anything which not edible by me, I mean organic waste now, not edible by me, I just throw them into compost bin. I have less guilt also lah.
Okay. And one Zainab Zafar is asking, can we add coffee grounds?
Yes, coffee ground, okay. Coffee ground, tea bags, tea powder, all okay. In fact, coffee ground is the ingredient that has very high nitrogen element. So it's highly recommend that you add in coffee powder. I do add in most of the time. Yes. Yeah, coffee powder because I didn't get coffee yesterday. No coffee powder in my food waste there.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lee. Miss Hui Pikwa is asking, how frequent do we have to stir the compost?
A few days once or even a week's once will do. You don't have to stir every day, don't waste your time. If you don't stir too long, it get a bit, things get a bit too sticky to one another, then there will be less oxygen inside there. So the whole composting process will slow down. So if you stir it, then you look at it like it's too a bit smelly, or it's not, the heat is not high, you don't feel the heat of the compost, then you add in a little bit more of browse item so that you introduce space in between them. So when there is space in between them, each component inside the compost bin has oxygen supply. So the process will start again. It actually can be done in a smaller flower pot also. The one that I use is not big enough, but for a person use actually can last me a few weeks. So I used to keep 3 pots at one go. One is topping up at all times in the process of topping up. The other 2 already full. I keep it aside to wait for the whole composting process to complete. So they are of different timing now, of course. So the one that I keep the most one will be ready to be used the earliest lor. So I will just make sure I turn it maybe a week once, or sometimes lazy also 2 weeks, then only go and turn it once. So it doesn't matter actually. If you are doing it for home purpose, be flexible, do it at your own pace, as long as you make sure you remember about it. It's fine. So sometimes I totally forgot about it, I was too busy teaching. So I just take this. This is the one that is kept aside for very, very long. So it get very much dry up already. Compared to just now the humus you see. In fact, if I keep those humus aside for a month, it looks a little bit, it still looks a little bit moisture, a little bit rubbery kind of components there. So, but it doesn't matter if it's very hardened up already. You just put it on top of the flower pot. Just put it on top. When you water the plant, all the ingredient will just get into the soil, and then it will dissolve on its own there. So you don't really need to take care of it like baby. Let it grow on, let it become fertilizer on its own. What you need to do is just ensure the process, the 4 components are being introduced to the compost bin. That's the most important. And also take the initiative to start composting, even at home. If I do, even for me, a person, if I don't start composting, I will have to throw out a lot of food waste into dustbin. And the similar type of food waste, if we carry out composting at home, aerobic composting, it becomes fertilizer. But if we don't do it at home, we throw it to the dustbin, it turns into what our participants say just now. It's turned into the process of anaerobic composting, which means that it is chucked to the landfill without much, in a whole piece, in whole chunk, in the dustbin, in the plastic bag, rubbish plastic bag. So it's inside there. So it's in a closed air with no oxygen introduced, and it becomes very stink, and it's rotting at the landfill most of the time. So it takes several years for the whole process to be completed or composted into its basic ingredient again, like nitrogen and phosphorus or those kind of basic ingredients. It takes years to have the process completed. And anaerobic composting actually is very bad. It produces a lot of methane gases. That is the very detrimental gas to our mother nature. So that become very unhealthy. Our living environment become very unhealthy. So well, if you can take our part, every family do a little bit of aerobic composting. You have more space, you do a bigger pot of compost. If you have no space like me, you just do a small one at the balcony. Just then the whole process is, well, I think it's helping the environment to be better protected. So I will want to call actions for start composting from today onwards. It's very easy.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, for all the explanation. It's very clear. And just one more question from Lim Ming Yang. Is it just fruits and vegetables? Can we compost meat products too?
Meat product cannot be composted through the same process because they are not organic waste, so they don't have microbes presence for the aerobic composting process. It cannot be done. But they are also actually for food, for meat, they go through anaerobic composting. There is in the market there is device sold by companies that enable anaerobic composting for meat and fish, the kind of product. So they store all those products into a closed lid container, totally closed because it's too smelly and they cannot tahan it. Totally closed for it to be composted inside, and they add in some ingredients, some microbes ingredient inside there. That is another different kind of technology compared to aerobic composting. So I have no research into that. I also didn't do that one. Those meat composting.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lee, for the sharing. Now we will proceed. Okay, anything else that you want to add on, Dr. Lee?
No, my call is again the same, start composting today. And thank you for coming to the webinar today. I'm glad to be able to share with you of my hobbies here and hope that you have learned something today. Thank you very much. Miss Eun, back to you.
Okay, thank you. So to encourage everyone, okay, to start composting. Okay, so just now that's the end of our Q&A. Okay, so thank you, Dr. Lee, for all the answers, okay, given to the questions of our participants. So if you start composting, you can actually, okay, grow nice vegetables like this. This video is actually taken by Dr. Lee. She planted the bok choy from seeds. And you can see the seeds actually grow very well in week 2, week 3. And now it's in week 4. And she provides all the nutrition to the vegetables that she grow through the composting harvest. After she harvests, she cooks them. So look at this. If you do composting too, you can grow your own vegetables and they will grow healthily. And then this is another bok choy. Okay, curly bok choy. She also grow it from seeds as well. Wow, week 2 already grow so big. Okay, this is week 3 and 4. And week 5, ready. Look at how fresh it is, how healthy it is. Because of the organic fertilizer she's providing it with, so the vegetables grow very healthily. Okay, so we are now going into our quiz time. Okay, participants, do you want to win some prizes? Okay, so Miss Lee Wun Xiang will help me to take note, okay, of your answers. Okay, so please don't be so eager to quickly answer. Okay, so please only answer when I say, okay, post your answer now. Okay, so you can actually stand by your answer, but don't post it, don't send it out to the meeting chat, okay, until I finish reading the questions. Okay, so I finish reading the questions and also the four objective answers, okay, then only you can answer. So a participant can actually walk away with prize, okay, for answering correctly. Okay, so Miss Lee, are you ready there?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So we are going to start off. We have 3 questions in total. Participant who already win it, okay, the first prize, okay, or second prize, please don't participate because every participant can only walk away with 1 prize, okay? Now we are going to start off with the first question. Green materials are high in what? Okay, and this Dr. Lee has explained just now. And brown materials are high in what? Okay, so A, the answer is carbon, nitrogen. B, nitrogen, carbon. C, carbon, oxygen. And D, oxygen, carbon. So post your answer now. The green materials, is it carbon or is it nitrogen? Or is it oxygen? And brown materials like the leaves she has mentioned just now. The green materials are all the organic waste, the food waste that she has mentioned just now. They are full of anyone answering? Do y'all need hints?
Is it B?
Okay, is it B? Okay, what is your name? Because we want to give you the prizes later.
My name is Muhammad Ahmad bin Muhammad Salim.
Oh, okay. There are a lot of people post in the answers.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I have to give it to the first one who actually posts out the answer. I think
Yeah.
Miss Lee line is not good, so she didn't actually inform me. So sorry. Okay. So the prize will go to Ang Lie Yuan. Okay, because she's the first to answer it at the meeting chat. Okay. So participate at the meeting chat.
Yeah, Miss Ng. Because just now pop up too many answer. Yeah, the first I see also is Ang Li Yuan.
Okay, and Li Yuan. Okay, so congratulations, Li Yuan. Okay, the answer is B. Okay, nitrogen and carbon. All right. So next is the next question. Okay, so before I finish reading, okay, you cannot answer. Which items cannot be recycled? Okay, plastic bottles, food waste, aluminium cans, and newspaper. Which one cannot be recycled? You can post your answer now.
Miss Ng, what I can see is SC Chin 392. Are you getting the same name?
I am not so sure which is the last one at the earlier question. So we will follow the name that you mentioned just now. Oh, is it SCHIN 329? Is it?
Oh,
Chu
yeah,
Sok Chin.
yeah. Choose.
Ah,
Okay.
okay. She posted her name already. Chu Sok Chin. Okay. All right. So congratulations, Sok Chin. And the last question for the quiz. Okay, so the answer for this is food waste. Okay, so food waste cannot be recycled. That's why we have to use the food waste for composting. Okay, so for the rest of the items, we can actually recycle them. So that's why we won't be using them for composting. Okay, now next item is which cannot be composted. Okay, so we have been asking totally about this, okay, repeatedly. All right, so don't post your answer yet, okay, until you have, okay, I have finished reading the answer. Okay, banana peels, dairy products, eggshells, and coffee grounds. You can post your answer now.
Miss Ng is too many also.
The first one, okay, we give it to the first person who actually answer it correctly. I see Lao Si Hang is the first person who actually posted the message. Do you see that too?
Yep.
Okay, so congratulations, Si Hang, okay, Lao Si Hang, okay, congratulations. All right, so the answer is yes, dairy product. Okay, so dairy product is not part of the organic waste, so it cannot be composted. Okay, so that's all for the session for today. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for knowing more about composting. And really, as what Dr. Lee has called for, I really hope that everyone can start composting. So I pass back to you, Miss Lee.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Ng and Dr. Lee. A moment. For the winner first, if you can drop me a message, kindly drop me a message at the Teams here. If you can't, you can leave me an email to KLESF email. One moment, I'm posting the email and then the sign up form link and the feedback form link. Okay, I just posted. I would like to thank everyone for participating in the webinar and also our quiz. Once again, would like to thank Ms. Ng and Dr. Lee. But before we end, I would like to take a few minutes from you. I would like to promote about our coming KLESF event. Okay, so this is our poster for KLESF 2021. KLESF will be held on 23rd to 31 October. We will be streaming it using Zoom and Facebook Live. This is our Facebook. You just search KLESF, you can get it, and then our website and email. We will be having webinars, workshop, and quizzes during this 9 days event. And then before the event, we also have different competitions. Like the first one is our annual competition for the school children, KLESF International Challenge 2021. We have two project teams. First is the Sustainable Development Goals 3, Good Health and Well-being, and another is Goal 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. So you can go to our website to get more details. And another Also, our video competition is 3-minute video competition, innovative young educator. This we open up to 19 years old participants, so you also can go to our website to explore. Okay, so for the winner just now, we will be giving out 3 sets, which is one set consists of 1 thermal flask and also the storybook. So I will get your details to deliver the prizes to you. Thank you everyone for joining us. We also will be having different kind of quizzes during the webinar of KLESF. So stay tuned. Hope you can visit our website and Facebook more often. We will be keep posting our events and the competition. So also you can stay a chance to win our merchandise.
Thank you so much, Miss Lee. I hope to see everyone again at KLESF in October.
Thank you, everyone.